Trump did a press briefing. We want to know what he has to say. The Iran stuff's been going down. And this is where he said the iconic F-bomb. Trump's going to fly an F-bomber over to Iran and take care of things himself. I've been waiting all day to say that. Okay, sorry. I'll stop interrupting the man.
I don't think so, but I'm not happy that Israel's going out now. There was one rocket that I guess was fired overboard. It was after the time limit, and it missed its target. And now Israel's going out. These guys got to calm down. It's ridiculous.
Calm down!
I didn't like plenty of things I saw yesterday. I didn't like the fact that Israel unloaded right after we made the deal. They didn't have to unload.
That was so obnoxious.
And I didn't like the fact that the retaliation was very strong. But in all fairness, Israel unloaded a lot. And now I hear Israel just went out because they felt it was violated by one rocket that didn't land anywhere. That's not what we want, I'll tell you. And I'm telling you, I'm not happy.
I love that Trump, he's pissed at Israel right now. He's actually pissed. And he's not dancing around anymore. He's just saying, nah, dude, like one stupid fucking rocket came from Iran that didn't even land anywhere. And then Israel's like, ah, blah, blah, blah. Like, what the bro? Like, someone threw a pebble at your window. I'm really glad Trump's calling that out. He's sick of it. He's pissed, and he's not trying to be so fucking, diplomatic with all the sides and stuff. He's just saying, what the fuck? You guys are ruining it.
Be about that, Israel, either. Because all I do is play both sides. I'm going now, as you know, to NATO. Some of you are going with me, and I think it's going to be...
As he should play both sides. That's what we want the president to do, right? That's how we get peace.
Successful. We'll see. I'll let you know.
Are you going to achieve the agreement? The new dawn in the Middle East states the agreement you managed to achieve. What are your future plans for the region? Saudi Arabia, Israel, Gaza, the hostages?
Look, you're asking me about women in the Middle East. It's getting a lot better. Things are happening at a high level.
That's true.
As you know, Saudi Arabia's done a really good job. It's
They're
coming
doing
out far faster than I thought. So we're very happy about what's happening with women in the Middle East.
No, I'm talking.
I think that was a great question, and I think that was a great response too. Because it's true, especially from Trump's a righty. But a lot of righties, they're going to say that that's not the case. They're going to say that, women's rights are horrible in the Middle East, which they are, let's be honest. But they're better, and it's progressing faster than we expected, much like the man himself just said. So, I mean, I'm actually surprised by that personally, because I thought that they would just stay that way for 1,000 years.
About this, a new dawn in the Middle East that you managed to achieve last night.
Yeah.
The region is going to a new place with the agreement. Can you tell us what your future plans for Gaza, for the hostages?
Yeah. It's a new dawn. I appreciate the question. You're very nice. Who are you?
Thank you. I'm Neria Krause from Israeli Channel 32.
Well, we have to have Israel calm down because they went on a mission this morning. I got to get Israel to calm down now.
Did you get to speak with the President? Did you talk to Prime Minister Netanyahu?
I speak to everybody.
You urged
both sides not to violate the ceasefire, but reports coming from the region suggest that the sides accuse each other for violating the ceasefire. So
I think they both violated it. I'm not sure they did it intentionally. They couldn't rein people back. I don't like the fact that Israel went out this morning at all, and I'm going to see if I can stop it. So as soon as I get away from you, I'm going to see if I can stop it, okay?
You're the one that stopped to answer questions, to be fair, all right? I mean, and he loves answering questions with the press. All right, okay, I thought that was... You stopped to talk, man.
I think it's been completely demolished. I think the reason we're here is because those B-2 pilots did an unbelievable job. And the fake news, like CNN in particular, they're trying to say, well, I agree that it was destroyed, but maybe not that destroyed. You know what they're doing? They're really hurting great pilots that put their lives in the line.
He's so frustrated.
CNN is scum, and so is MSDNC. They're all, and frankly,
scum.
The networks aren't much better. It's all fake news, but they should not have done that. Those pilots hit their targets. Those targets were obliterated, and the pilots should be given credit. They're not after the pilots, they're after me. They want to try and demean. No, Iran will never rebuild its nuclear. From there? Absolutely not. That place is under rock. That place is demolished. The B-2 pilots did their job. They did it better than anybody could even imagine. They hit late in the evening. It was dark with no moon, and they hit that target with every one of those things, and that place is gone. But when I see CNN all night long, they're trying to say, well, maybe it wasn't really as demolished as we thought. It was demolished. You take a look at the pinpricks, and you see that place is gone. And I will say, I think CNN ought to apologize to the pilots of the B-2s. I think that MSDNC ought to apologize. I think these guys really, these networks and these cable networks are real losers. You really are.
He hates them so much.
You're gutless losers. I say that to CNN because I watch it. I have no choice. I got to watch that garbage. It's all garbage. It's all fake news.
I love this. I love this so much. This is, I love unhinged Trump, dude.
But I think CNN is a gutless group of people. And the people that run it, nobody even knows it's been sold so many times. But the people that run it ought to be ashamed. MSDNC, a guy named Brian Roberts, he heads it. He's a disgrace. He's a weak, pathetic disgrace.
Iran violated the peace agreement and the ceasefire agreement. Do you believe that Iran is still committed?
This is it. This is it. This is where it happens. This is it.
Yeah, I do. They violated it, but Israel violated it too.
Are you questioning if
Israel, as soon as we made the deal, they came out and they dropped a load of bombs, the likes of which I've never seen before. The biggest load that we've seen. I'm not happy with Israel. You know, when I say, okay, now you have 12 hours, you don't go out in the first hour and just drop everything you have on them. So I'm not happy with them. I'm not happy with Iran either. But I'm really unhappy if Israel's going out this morning because of one rocket that didn't land, that was shot, perhaps by mistake, that didn't land. I'm not happy about that. You know what? We basically have two countries that have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the fuck they're doing. Do you understand that?
And then he walks the fuck away, dude. Oh my God. No, we need to see that again.
So I'm not happy with them. I'm not happy with Iran either. But I'm really unhappy if Israel's going out this morning because of one rocket that didn't land, that was shot, perhaps by mistake, that didn't land. I'm not happy about that. You know what? We basically have two countries that have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the fuck they're doing. Do you understand that?
What the fuck?
So long and so hard that they don't know what the fuck they're doing. Do you understand that? Fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the fuck they're doing. Do you understand that?
Again.
The fuck they're doing. Do you understand that?
Dude, that's historic. So the bombings have seemed to have stopped. They just kind of went on a little bit longer than Trump said, which pissed him off. But now it seems like everyone's cooperating for the moment.
They had a lot of planes going and they were going to do something and they didn't do it. And we're happy about that. Very happy about that. So the ceasefire is very much in effect. And I think we're going to keep it there for a long time.
I hope so.
Did you speak to Prime Minister Netanyahu about that?
I did.
What did you tell him?
I said, you got to turn back the planes. They were going to go because, look, they hit him very hard after we made the deal yesterday. They were entitled to, but nobody thought that would have happened. But they hit him very hard, and that shouldn't have happened. And then, as you know, Iran hit them very hard last night because of that. I don't think they would have, except for the first hard hit.
So Trump's straight up admitting, he's saying Israel did it first and they hit it and it pissed off Iran. So then Iran did it back because they're not just going to fucking sit there and take it.
I guess a missile was launched a couple of minutes afterwards, which went nowhere, hit nothing. And there was going to be a retaliation this morning by Israel. And I said, you got to call back the planes. It's enough. It's enough. And they did, which I respect very greatly.
I hope it stays that way.
Nobody was killed. That was the story. But they had a lot of planes going in the wrong direction. You know that, right?
Do you want any consequences for Israel or Iran for breaking?
They didn't do anything. No, they didn't do anything. They would have if they put out a statement of truth, and they didn't do anything.
Sir, how are you confident that this might not happen again? Say in a couple weeks then?
Tired of it. I think they don't want it to happen again. And Iran's not going to have a nuclear weapon, by the way.
Good.
I think it's the last thing on their mind right now.
Good.
Did Iran make any commitments yesterday about uranium enrichment?
Know what?
About uranium enrichment and
They're not going to have enrichment, and they're not going to have a nuclear weapon, and they know that. They're going to get on to being a great trading nation. You know, they're very good traders, and they're going to be a great trading nation, and they have a lot of oil. They're going to do well. They're not going to have a nuclear weapon.
so did they
The
promise?
last thing on Iran's mind right now is nuclear weapons.
Can you clarify what you meant when
The
you
way
mentioned
he says that.
regime change in your Truth Social post the other night?
Which,
Regime change? Do you want to see regime change in Iran?
no, if there was, there was. But no, I don't want it. I'd like to see everything calm down as quickly as possible. Regime change takes chaos. And ideally, we don't want to see so much chaos. So we'll see how it does. You know, the Iranians are very good traders, very good business people, and they got a lot of oil. They should be fine. They should be able to rebuild and do a good job. They're never going to have nuclear, but other than that, they should do a great job, which is exactly where I've been saying for years, you cannot let Iran have a nuclear weapon.
I agree.
But we're going to be with, where's Marco? I think Marco's here somewhere.
Marco!
You know, our great
Polo!
Secretary of State.
Where's
But we
Marco?
cannot let them have a nuclear weapon. They won't have a nuclear weapon. And I will tell you, the last thing on their minds is nuclear weapons. They don't even want to think about nuclear. And our B-2 pilots made this all possible. They had a...
I think the reason why he's saying they don't, like, he's repeating that over and over again is because they made it very clear that we will fuck you guys up if you start fucking with nuclear energy stuff, nuclear weapons, uranium enrichment. You even touch it, we're coming back. Don't make us come back here.
magnificent hit in the dark of night with no moon, no light, no nothing. They hit the target perfectly, wiped it out. And the press is very disrespectful. I saw CNN fake news going, well, maybe it wasn't a perfect hit, it was perfect. They said maybe it did destroy it. We agree, it did destroy it, but maybe it could have destroyed it more. No, it couldn't have destroyed it more. Everyone hit. And it's very disrespectful to those great geniuses and patriots that flew those planes through tremendous danger. So CNN and MSDNC are disgraced.
The DNC,
and so are the
MSDNC.
others. I mean, they're pretty much all in disgrace. But it's
I'll never get tired
an
of
amazing
them
period of time. Now
saying
we're
that
going to NATO, and we'll get a new set of problems. We'll solve a new set of problems.
Do you think you'll meet with Zelensky when you're there?
Yeah, probably. I'll see him. Yeah.
What would you say to him?
Say, how you doing? He's in a tough situation. Should have never been there.
Sir, you said a couple days ago that you didn't think the U.S. should have to agree to the 5% increase in GDP on defense.
No.
Do you want to
I was the one that said that's what they should be paying, as you know. No, I should do something, and they're having a problem.
He says that we wiped it out. We won't know for months how bad it was or wasn't. That I agree with. We do know the capabilities of the weapons that we used, and we dropped 6 of them, right? I don't know. Like, yeah, like I said, like we don't know until we get more reports saying that it's not looking good. I think that there's honestly, there's an amount of people that don't know shit, but they're acting like they know shit, and then it's spreading, which is causing doubt. Now we should have doubt, but it's like doubt that's being caused for the sake of being an opponent to Trump and not based off of truth. So you just got to keep that in mind, you know, because there are outfits that are going to try and, you know, make Trump look like an absolute motherfucking success. And then there's the outfits that are going to do the exact opposite because they have what they're trying to achieve. They have their you know, goals and what they want to do and how they want to see the world be. And it's a big battle of information. The data that we have currently is the capabilities of the weapons and where they hit. That's the data everyone has and nothing more until further notice. And that's
Spain.
true.
There's always a problem with Spain. Because Spain's not agreeing, which is very unfair to the rest of them, frankly.
The U.S. won't be increasing our GDP to 5%.
We should pay what everyone else.
Misinformation spreads both doubt and confidence without reason. True. Yeah, dude, that sounds spot on to me. Yeah.
You know, they're in Europe, we're not. You know, a lot of that money goes to rebuilding their bridges, their roads, so it can take heavy equipment. And, you know, we don't have any roads in Europe. We don't have any bridges in Europe. So, no, it wouldn't be quite the same thing for us. But we're with them.
Are you still committed to Article 5 of NATO?
It depends on your definition. There's numerous definitions of Article 5. You know that, right? But I'm committed to being their friends. You know, I've become friends with many of those leaders, and I'm committed to helping them.
What do you want the role of NATO to be going forward once these other countries are
Gaming
spending
with Gecko,
By
thanks for the
having
100
a
bits.
unified system, I think we're going to have stronger peace, better peace, and I think we have that. You know, when I went to NATO, they were broke. When I first started this whole thing, it seems like a long time ago, 9 years, right? But they were broke. I knew it immediately. I said, you guys are broke. They weren't paying their dues. 7 of the 28 countries, at the time it was 28, were paying their dues, but they weren't paying very much. NATO was broke. Then I said, you're going to have to pay, and we did a whole thing, and now they're paying a lot. Then I said, you're going to have to lift it to 4% or 5%, and 5% is better. And they just, I guess they're voting on that today, but they're going to be lifting it to 5%. That's good. It gives them much more power. As you know, Vladimir called me up. He said, can I help you with Iran? I said, no, I don't need help with Iran. I need help with you. And I hope we're going to be getting a deal done with Russia. It's a shame. 6,000 soldiers died last week.
Damn, dude.
More, 6,500 soldiers died.
Jesus Christ.
Last week, Russia, Ukraine. A war that never would have happened if I was president.
He always has to
So
say it.
enjoy